Monday came in clear. No rain. No flat white sky. Just early morning light cutting sharp angles through the buildings. The kind of light that makes a city look like something that was built with intention. Nadia was downstairs by 7, 10 minutes earlier than usual. She had the folder under her arm. She went to the lobby cafe and took the corner table near the window, the one with a clear line of sight to the entrance. And she ordered 2 coffees without knowing how he took his, and then decided that was fine. Black was safe, and she sat and waited. He arrived at 7:12. She watched him come through the revolving door. He was wearing the dark jacket, same cut as always, and he looked around the lobby once with the efficient scan of a person who reads spaces quickly. He saw her. He came over. He did not sit right away. "Good morning," he said. "Good morning," she said. "Sit down. I ordered coffee. I do not know how you take it. There is sugar on the table if you need it." He sat. He took the coffee black. She noted that and moved on. "I have 15 minutes," she said. "I am going to use about 5 of them and then give the rest to you." He looked at her steadily. "I need a head for my materials division," she said. "I have needed one since March. The person I had was talented, but the fit was wrong, and she knew it before I did, and she left cleanly, which I respected. I have interviewed 9 people since then. 4 of them understood the science. 2 of them understood the commercial side. None of them understood both in the same sentence." She opened the folder. She turned it so he could read the top page. It was the division overview, the same section that had been the weakest part of her quarterly board report for 2 cycles running. He looked at it. He read. She watched him read it, the precise downward focus of someone who was not skimming. After 40 seconds, he turned the page. She let him. After 2 minutes, he closed the folder. "Your materials acquisition pipeline is weighted toward construction applications," he said. "But your defense adjacency has better margin and faster procurement cycles. You have the patents in-house to move there more aggressively. You are not moving there." "Why do you think that is?" she said. "Because whoever put this strategy together understood the science and underestimated the procurement relationship side," he said. "Defense contracting is not a product sale. It is a relationship built over years. Whoever wrote this did not have those relationships." "And you do," she said. He met her eyes. "I did," he said. "Some of them are likely still current." She nodded. "I am not asking you to make a decision right now," she said. "I am asking you to read the full division file, which Owen will send to whatever address you want. And tell me in 3 to 5 days whether you think the role is something you can do, and whether it is something you want to do. Both questions matter equally." He was quiet. "I am not doing this because I feel sorry for you," she said. "I want to be precise about that. I have built 3 companies. I do not staff out of sympathy. I have watched you work for 2 weeks, and I have read what you built before, and I am making a professional assessment that you are probably one of the few people in this city who can close the gap in that division before my board review in 10 weeks. "Probably," he said. "I qualified it because I have not seen you work in that context," she said. "I do not overstate what I cannot verify." He looked at the closed folder. He looked at the table. He looked at her. "The driving arrangement," he said. "Would end," she said. "Colin is returning next week regardless. This is a separate conversation." "What are the terms?" he said. She slid the second page out of the folder. He read it. She watched his face, and it gave her nothing. Which she had come to understand was not the absence of a reaction, but the presence of a very controlled one. He put the page down. "The equity provision," he said, "is real," she said. "Not a placeholder. Not a carrot to get you in the door. Owen can connect you with my legal team for independent review of the structure. I want you to know exactly what you are agreeing to before you agree to it." He looked out the window. The city was moving at full morning speed now, the street outside the cafe building toward the day. A delivery truck double-parked across the way. 2 people walked past holding identical coffee cups. A child in a school uniform was standing on the corner, looking up at something above the buildings, head tilted all the way back, seeing something none of the adults around her had thought to look for. Marcus watched the child for a moment. "Zora starts at 8:15, he said. "I know," Nadia said. "I need to be at pickup by 3. "I have a calendar," she said. "I know how to use it." He looked at her. She looked back. 3 to 5 days, she said. Read the file. Think about it properly. I do not want an answer right now, and I do not want an answer that was made in a moment. I want a considered answer from someone who has weighed what it means to step back into this kind of work and has decided clearly. He nodded. She stood. She picked up her bag. She left the folder on the table. The folder is yours, she said. I have the originals. She went to the elevator. She pressed the button and waited, and did not look back at the table where he was sitting, because she had said what she came to say, and the next move was entirely his, and she respected that enough to give it space. The elevator doors opened. She stepped in. The doors closed. She went upstairs and started her week. He sat at the table for another 8 minutes. He finished the coffee. He read the terms page again. He looked at the folder. He put it in his bag. He drove Zora to school. She was bright that morning, full of something from the weekend. A birthday party. Someone named Clara who had a trampoline in her garden and a dog that had eaten someone's shoe. And she narrated all of it with the specificity of an eyewitness account. He listened. He answered when answering was called for. He asked questions that made her think more carefully and describe more vividly. At the gate, she turned back and waved before she was through it, which she had not done for weeks. And he raised his hand and she ran inside and he sat at the curb for a moment in the morning light. He thought about less than I did. He thought about the folder in his bag. He thought about Claire, the way he thought about her now, not with the raw physical grief of the first year, but with the particular kind of love that takes up permanent residence in a person and does not ask for anything. She would have looked at that folder and read every page and then looked at him over the top of it and said something specific and accurate that would have made the decision clear. She had always been better at clarity than he was. He had been the one who could see the long arc, the structural possibilities. She had been the one who could see the immediate right move. He pulled away from the curb. He drove for 2 hours, a different booking he had through noon, an elderly man named Arthur Cole who needed to get to a medical appointment across town and back, and who sat in the back and talked the entire way about his grandson, who was learning to play the violin and was apparently extraordinary, and Marcus listened and responded and appreciated the uncomplicated warmth of the conversation. At 12:15 he parked. He took the folder out of his bag. He read the full division file, all of it, every page. He read the acquisition records and the patent portfolio, and the team org chart, and the board reporting structure, and the 10-week timeline, and the performance expectations, and the budget authority, and the equity vesting schedule. It took 45 minutes. He sat with it for another 15. He thought about what she had said. I do not overstate what I cannot verify. He thought about the way she had run that table, direct and without performance, the same way she handled every conversation he had been in proximity to. No escalation, no drama, just precision and forward movement. He thought about the cash flow correction she had said exactly right back to him, not as a show of knowledge but as acknowledgement. That had been the thing, not the research, not the article. The moment she had said yes, that is what I thought, and meant it. He knew what the answer was. He had known since he sat down at the lobby cafe table and watched her turn that folder so he could read it, not so she could show him how much she knew, but so he could show her what he saw. He was not impulsive. He had never been impulsive. He picked up his phone and sent a message to Owen Price's contact information, which Nadia had written at the bottom of the terms page in handwriting that was small and deliberate and completely legible. He wrote, "Please send the full file. I will be in contact by Wednesday." 3 seconds later, Owen responded, "Already sent. Check the email you gave the agency." He checked the email. The file was already there. He looked at the timestamp. She had sent it to Owen before she came downstairs to the cafe. He sat with that for a moment. Not because it surprised him, because it was the most Nadia thing possible, and he was beginning to understand that Nadia Osei moved toward what she believed in, with a steadiness that did not wait for permission from the universe. He put his phone in his pocket. He drove the afternoon. He picked up Zora. She was carrying a piece of paper folded into a shape that was supposed to be a boat, she announced, though it was more accurately a rectangle with ambitious intentions, and she explained the full process of how she had made it, with the pride of an engineer debriefing after a successful test. He told her it was a good boat. She told him it was the best boat. He said that was also possible. They drove home in the particular warmth of an evening when nothing has gone wrong, and she talked and he listened and the city went past the windows, and he thought about the folder in his bag, and the next 2 days, and what Wednesday would look like. He thought about the word careful. He had been careful for a long time. He had been careful with Zora, and careful with his time, and careful with the boundaries he had drawn around their life, because those boundaries were what had kept the structure of the last year and a half intact. He did not regret the care. It had been necessary. It had been the right way to survive the kind of loss that takes the floor out from under everything. But he was also aware that a structure built only for survival is not built for living. Claire had told him something once, early on, when the company was still finding its shape, and he was being careful in the ways he was always careful, thinking 10 moves ahead, protecting against every possible wrong turn. She had been reading something at the kitchen table, and she had looked up without prompting and said, without any particular context, that there was a difference between planning to succeed and planning to not fail. He had thought about that statement many times since. He thought about it now. On Wednesday morning he sent 2 emails, one to Owen with a question about the board reporting structure, one to Nadia directly, to the address on the bottom of the terms page beside Owen's, the one she had written out personally. It was 4 sentences. It said, "I have read the file completely. The division strategy needs to be rebuilt from the patents up, not patched at the application level. I can do that inside 10 weeks if the board review scope is what the file describes. I would like to take the role." He pressed send. He made Zora's lunch, packed her bag, found the spelling homework under the couch cushion where it lived inexplicably every single week, and put it in the front pocket of the backpack where it was supposed to live. His phone buzzed. He picked it up. Her reply was 3 words. "Good. Monday morning." He put the phone down. He looked at Zora, who was eating toast and describing, with great intensity, the plot of a book she was reading about a rabbit who wanted to be an architect, and he listened to the whole thing, every detail, the way the rabbit designed the burrows and how the other rabbits did not understand the vision at first and then they did, and how it ended, which was apparently with the rabbit standing in front of something she had built that worked exactly the way she had imagined it. He thought that was a good way for a story to end. On Monday morning, Nadia was at her desk by 7:30. Owen had the board division draft on her screen. She read the first 3 pages and made 2 notes, and then looked at the time. 8:52. At 9, her desk phone rang. "Building reception." "A Mr. Ellison at the lobby desk," the receptionist said. "Send him up," she said. She stood. She straightened the folder on her desk. She looked at the view from the 31st floor, the city spread out in the late summer morning, clear and bright, and going about itself in all directions. The elevator opened. Marcus Ellison stepped out. He was wearing a different jacket today, fitted, dark blue, the kind of jacket a person wears when they are walking into something. He looked at the office around him with the direct, assessing look she recognized from the very first morning, the look of someone reading a space and understanding it quickly. He walked across to where she was standing. She held out her hand. He shook it. "There is a lot of ground to cover," she said. "Yes," he said. "Are you ready to start?" He looked at her steadily, the same way he had looked at her outside her building on day 1, once, directly, before he opened the door and let the day begin. "Yes," he said. She pulled out the chair on the other side of her desk. He sat down. She sat across from him. The city went on outside the windows, enormous and unhurried, and inside that office on the 31st floor, 2 people who had both lost something and kept going and carried it quietly and chosen, in different ways and at different costs, to remain someone in the wreckage of it, began the careful, ordinary work of building something new. No announcement, no ceremony, just the open folder between them, and the morning, and what came next.